Hello, and welcome to another update video about Ethereum. Yeah, Ethereum has given us potentially 5 waves yesterday to the upside, which, as you know, is the initial indication typically that something might be changing here. Yeah, but it's too early to confirm. We have a questionable 5-wave pattern to the upside, a diagonal at best. Ideally, we see an impulse, but there is no impulse. There's only a diagonal at best. Well, that doesn't mean it couldn't have bottomed. It certainly could have, especially with that latest move to the upside, which happened yesterday. Nothing, however, nothing new happened basically after the last update. So let's talk about the structures. We still deal with an overall bullish chart. There is no change here. The question is simply, okay, do we get another low, or is the low already in? If the low is already in, personally, to confirm that, I want to see further evidence. I think at the moment for you, it's only important to know that the low could be in, but it would have to be not an A, B, C structure. It would have to be a WXY. In a WXY structure, the low can be in, but these are structures which are not the most likely. So I cannot, let's say, focus on that, okay? It's just a possibility that obviously we need to consider, but really we need further evidence to assume that this is what's going on. A WXY structure in a wave 2. But then, what is this, right? And I think it's worth understanding that with yesterday's movement, if I was assigning probabilities in percent, then probably the probabilities for a breakout to the upside have increased slightly, just slightly. Why is that? It's because with the latest push to the upside we've seen yesterday, I can identify 5 waves to the upside, even though very questionable. So I don't trust them, but I tell you in this video what we need to see to get a better idea of, okay, it worked out as WXY pattern. The correction is already finished and the price bottomed on Tuesday the 23rd. And we're already on the move to higher prices. By the way, we also see this head and shoulders pattern here, which I think probably all retail, you'll see that everywhere on YouTube. People talk about this head and shoulders and they're very bearish. Whereas I'm like, okay, maybe we get another low, but really it should turn around then, or maybe it's going up already. Okay, so these often don't play out as the masses assume, okay? Latest example on the dot chart. These head and shoulders, I don't often use them. When I see them, I point them out, but I don't really trust them. I like to use the Elliott Waves. They give us a better context anyway than any head and shoulders could ever do. Okay, so again, in an ABC structure, one more low, or let's call it at least one more low, is a reasonable interpretation, a reasonable expectation. Now, for one more low, I need to see, however, a sustained break below 2,199, because this is now, based on the latest movements, our support area. The price reacted so far to resistance. 2,330 was the next resistance level, and as I mentioned to you, the ideal target actually for a 4th wave in the white count. And I mean, if it now comes down impulsively, the market could try again to put that 5th wave in place. It tried that yesterday already. Failed, but it didn't break above resistance. So there is no clear signal at this stage that an overall low is in. I'm basically observing the resistance area, which ranges all the way up to 2,382, as well as the structure. If the structure was clear, which it isn't, then I would say, okay, maybe we've really bottomed already. At the moment, it's at least, I would say 50-50 roughly, okay, and it's all about, on the micro at least, and don't forget the bigger picture bullish. It's all about, okay, one more low or not. Think about what that means for you and your portfolio. But I can tell you that with yesterday's move up, again, the preference is not clearly anymore for another low. I now just want to watch and see if the pullback that should happen at some point is corrective. And if it's corrective, then this here could be a trade setup. Yeah, basically for a pullback in a wave 2, which should hold then 2,199 to trade possibly a 3rd wave. And there's also confirmation. First level of confirmation that a low is in is the 5-wave move to the upside, which we've seen. It's a questionable diagonal, but it's only questionable. Second level of confirmation will be a pullback into a support area holding a higher low. Third level of confirmation will be a break above the recent high. But it needs to be above resistance, because if this is turning into a larger A, B, C, it could still break down. Do you see what I mean? It's all about dynamic assessment of probabilities, okay? And it's not a clean 5-wave move. But support is clear, okay? You could choose to say, okay, I'm focusing on the upside now, but I know that a sustained break below 2,199 will likely mean that this topped in a fourth wave and we get one more low to around 2,100. Okay, so they are the parameters to watch, I think, for today and tomorrow. Fed day tomorrow. I posted that earlier today on Twitter on the X network that, what it might mean, what might happen tomorrow during Fed day. I talked about that in the Bitcoin video. Don't want to do that again, but if you're interested to find out a little bit more about what's expected tomorrow, feel free to follow us on Twitter, the X network. The link is in the description. So I'm not saying it will massively influence what's happening here on the chart, but it might be a bit of a catalyst to drive the price further in its relevant scenarios, right? So yeah, I mean, overall bullish, I think that's the bottom line. Overall bullish, it's literally all about, okay, do we get one more low or not? And it's the 2,199 level as support that basically stands between the yellow count and the white one. And on the upside, it's the 2,382 level that we have to observe, which would be a breakout point if the low is already in. And a break above that level would more substantially increase probabilities for the yellow count, basically the more direct breakout. And that's my update about Ether. Hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.